Now we're talking about flat pulls. And I've changed over the years when I talk about pulling. You know, we talk about pull right, hit right, pull left, hit left, talking about what we want to hit on the position. But the really thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about when you flat pull, basically how you flat pull. And the number one thing I tell them is to pull flat. That's the number one thing. You're pulling flat. So when I say when you think pull flat, we want to pull flat. The first thing you want to look for is edge pressure. And I changed over here. I used to be a pull into the line, dig them out, get in. But then I realized when you pull on those guards, if something flashes to them, it's hard for them to adjust when it's up the field. For example, if you're in a gun and you're running counter and that end gets up the field, he can get close to that mesh point. So when we pull, I tell them to take a picture. The first thing, we want to gain ground. We want to open up our hip. We want to stab with our second step. When I take that step to go pull, I want my eyes flat down the line of scrimmage. So if something shows up, I can helmet adjust to hit the pressure on the edge. When I talk about helmet adjust, your head is like a steering wheel. So if you see something flash, take your helmet to the flash and it will pull the rest of your body. So we want to pull flat into the line of scrimmage. Now, what I tell them is once I pull flat and I don't see edge pressure, that's when the second step starts to tighten into the line because I know I'm about to go hit the defensive end. So it's kind of a two-way kind of street when we pull on those flat pulls. The rest of it is just, good clinic stuff. We're talking about first thing, edge pressure. No edge pressure, get tight, make a clear decision because you got a puller coming behind you. Remember, you're the fullback when you're the guard pulling. There's another guy coming behind you that's going to be lead that thing around. Skip pull, I'm a skip pull guy with a second. So when we skip pull with the second, whether that be tight end, O-line, doesn't matter. We want to be square to the line of scrimmage, and we want to get one by one off the defender. Well, Coach, what do you mean? So if I'm flat pulling, if this speaker is flat pulling that way, and I'm a second puller, I want to be 1 yard off and 1 yard deep away from him because that gives me the space and time I need to make the decision based off what he does. So whether you're the tackle pulling on GT counter or the tight end, and that tight end is a little bit easy because it's already automatic space off the formation. But I want to make sure I got that deal there, and I want my eyes on that near hip. Because if the near hip stays, I know I'm getting inside. If that near hip goes away, that means he's logged the defender. That means I have to go around it. Simple. Talk about GT counter, GY counter, things like that. So simple drill. I do this just simplistically just to kind of show things. I was making fun of my D coordinator. I said, I don't care how much I speak. Every clinic I was going to start with that violent hands, violent feet. It's going to start with some kind of O-lineman on the screen. So we're talking about that flat pull. We want to go flat down the line. We want to turn that toe, get there, and I'm flat right here. And then what he's looking at is he's keying that hip right there. That hip is going to tell him how he's going to operate to get either inside of the block or outside of the kick block. That is critical that he can see that hip. And I'm looking at him to make sure he's looking at that hip. And then once he sees the decision on his third step, and he makes a clear decision that hip did not go away, I'm coming inside of that block. Does that make sense? So I'm training this without even somebody there, and I'm watching him make clear decisions based off what he sees. I changed my philosophy in coaching. It's not many times I stand behind the offensive line anymore. Because what I learned is them young guys, they lie to you. They can cheat you if you're standing behind. But if you stand on the other side, you get to see where they're looking. And you get to see the decision they make before they make it. So I've kind of changed my deal where I put the camera behind and I stay on the other side. Because I want to see what they're looking at pre-snap. I want to see if they're giving away plays, if they're giving away down blocks, if they're giving away protection. So I've kind of changed my philosophy on where I stand when I'm coaching the offensive line. But just keying that hip and things like that. Simple drill. We do this in pre-practice. Also, if you'll notice, I train my tackles to have their eyes outside, even in drills. So whenever a tackle gets lined up, I don't care if he's down, blocking base, blocking pass, blocking, his eyes always be outside. Just kind of stop a tendency because, with us, that's things they're looking for. We're not trying to give it away. So we got a flat pull and we got a skip pull. Now you see he did not look. His eyes never got to the hip. You see how he's cheating? So I can see that more when I'm there than I can on the other side.